Hello, you're tuned into Wrestling Roundup with Grady Hooker on FreeFM 89.0. We'll crack into this day in history. There's two separate WWE pay-per-views that happened this day in history. We'll start with The Bash in 2009. There were three big championship matches. The ECW Championship was on the line in a championship scramble. Tommy Dreamer ended up picking up the win after beating out Christian, Finlay, Mark Henry, and Jack Swagger. Also on the line was the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk was defending against Jeff Hardy. CM Punk ended up retaining his title after he kicked the ref in the head, causing a disqualification. And the WWE Championship was on the line in a 3 stages of hell match. Yeah, we just saw one of these at Payback. This time it was Randy Orton taking on Triple H. Orton managed to retain after his proteges Priceless, Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes interfered. The more infamous pay-per-view that happened was WWE King of the Ring 1998. In the final of the King of the Ring tournament, Ken Shamrock became King of the Ring by forcing The Rock to tap out. The WWE Championship was on the line in a first blood match. Steve Austin was defending against Kane, and Kane managed to pick up the win after Paul Bearer lowered the cage, and The Undertaker, who'd had a match previously, came out and gave Austin a chair shot to the head. But the most infamous of the matches that happened was the Hell in a Cell match, where The Undertaker took on Mankind. A couple of minutes into the match, The Undertaker ended up throwing Mankind off the top of the cell, which was a full 16-foot drop onto the Spanish announce table. The footage of that fall has since become the most used and viewed video in professional wrestling history. Okay, so on the classic note, we'll flip on over to our classic theme song of the week. It's All About the Money by the $1 Million Man. That was Ted DiBiase Sr., the $1 Million Man's entrance theme. Here with Brandon.
I'm great to be back on the show.
Thanks, man. We'll start off with Monday Night Raw. What do you think of Alberto Del Rio's title celebration and CM Punk interrupting?
I was a little bit surprised because it looks like they're going to go forward with Del Rio embracing the hate that the WWE Universe has given him over the past few weeks while he's been acting like a good guy.
Yeah, and with CM Punk coming back out as the good guy and the crowd loving him.
I think CM Punk will start acting like Stone Cold Steve Austin, going against both bad guys and good guys.
Yeah, good work. Okay, well, Vicky Guerrero ends up setting that match for later tonight, and backstage, CM Punk quits the Heyman Clients group, but remains a Heyman guy.
Yeah, I really liked that segment because it really was like CM Punk breaking away from Paul Heyman, which is a big step in CM Punk becoming a bigger star than he was when he used to be a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. Up next, it was meant to be the Intercontinental Championship rematch between Wade Barrett and Curtis Axel, but Vicky Guerrero ended up bringing out Christian to be Wade Barrett's opponent.
I was really surprised by Christian coming back, because I think he'd come back to make a bigger impact instead of defeating Wade Barrett on Monday Night Raw. But I'm still happy with the way Christian returned.
Yeah, he came back and hit the kill switch on Barrett for a successful comeback match.
Yep, he looked good in the match, and it looks like he hasn't changed a bit.
Yep. Okay, well, the next match was a 2-on-1 handicap match between Team Rhodes Scholars and Sheamus.
This was another step in furthering the Sheamus versus Damian Sandow feud, which I think may come to an end rather sooner rather than later, because I don't think this feud has an even greater shelf life than it has so far.
No, I think at Payback it definitely hit its peak, and now it's just rolling down the other side of the mountain.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Sandow ended up picking up the swift win there, and Rhodes ended up eating the wrath of Sheamus.
Yep, of course. Cody Rhodes always seems to be the third wheel with Damian Sandow. So I think maybe in the future Cody Rhodes could backlash on Damian Sandow.
Yeah, It's quite possible. Backstage, Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox are confronted by Triple H, who doesn't seem to like Vicky's.
I really like the way Vicky Guerrero has handled things on Monday Night Raw, along with Brad Maddox. So I don't see why Triple H would get upset, but I think Vicky Guerrero has done a better job than people have said she's been doing, and I think she should be the permanent general manager of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, but she's receiving a lot of pressure from Triple H, and later on in Raw from Vince and Stephanie.
Yeah, I think they could go somewhere with that, maybe having maybe like Stephanie McMahon become the general manager, Triple H becoming the general manager. So I don't know where they're going to go with this.
Yeah. Backstage, a bit of an interesting argument between Daniel Bryan and Kane, furthering the breakup between the two of them. Team Hell No is no more, but the important part of it is they both seem to want the WWE Championship.
Yep, they both seem to want to get to the big time. So maybe it's going to involve Daniel Bryan versus Kane at some point. But I really think this summer will be the summer of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, for the short term, I think they might both be put in the WWE Championship Money in the Bank match if they want it that bad.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. But maybe they have bigger plans for Daniel Bryan, and maybe he doesn't have to win a Money in the Bank match. Maybe he can win number one contenders match. So let's see where they go with this.
Yeah. Talking to Daniel Bryan, the next match was Daniel Bryan taking on Randy Orton. The WWE at poll decided as no DQ match.
These two have been wrestling a lot as of late, and I've been nothing but impressed. They've put on a great show each and every time. Whether the match lasts 3 seconds or 3 minutes, they still put on a great show.
Yeah. The ending, it was good for prolonging the storyline, but not really for the match itself. The referee ended up calling off the match.
Well, WWE.com reported that Triple H backstage stopped the match. So this really upset Daniel Bryan, and WWE.com had spoke with both Daniel Bryan and Triple H and got both sides of the story. So maybe if the match wasn't stopped, Daniel Bryan would have beat Randy Orton, or it could have been the other way around.
Well, either way, Orton showed good sportsmanship and hugged Bryan, who ended up stomping out at the end of it anyway.
Yep. Daniel Bryan, he was rightfully angry. If he wanted the match stopped, he would have had the match stopped.
Yep. Okay, well, up next was a great segment with AJ Lee.
I like the way how they did this. I really like the way that they've built AJ Lee up from the little girl from NXT who got eliminated. I think he was the second runner-up. And from Daniel Bryan's girlfriend all the way to the psychotic general manager, and now all the way to Dolph Ziggler's girlfriend, and then to the WWE Divas champion, has really shown how far AJ has come since she debuted on NXT.
Yeah. The open challenge being accepted by Stephanie McMahon.
I was a little bit interested by this because I don't see Stephanie McMahon feuding with AJ Lee. I don't really get the way Stephanie accepted the challenge, and I don't think this segment had a purpose.
No, but Stephanie definitely showed her evil side again when yelling at, Caitlyn and the rest of the divas for interrupting her. Yeah,
that was interesting, but I don't think it's going to have a long-term effect in the future.
Okay. And the predictable end with Caitlyn and AJ brawling, and then Big E comedically carrying AJ off.
Yes, this continued the AJ Lee versus Caitlyn feud. So let's see where they go from this. Will AJ Lee retain her championship, or will Caitlyn regain the gold that she won against Eve?
Yeah, it is likely we'll see a rematch between these two in the coming weeks. Whether it prolongs enough to be at the pay-per-view or not is yet to be seen. Talking about championship matches, the next match is the US Championship rematch. Dean Ambrose defending against Kane.
I really like the way they've made Dean Ambrose and the Shield look as powerful as they had.
Yeah, Kane was about to win before the Shield interfered.
Yep, I think they may do Kane versus Dean Ambrose in the future, but I don't see it as a long-term feud. I see it as being kind of like a short feud over in a few weeks.
Yeah. The Shield ended up hitting Kane with a triple power bomb, which I don't think we've seen for a while.
Yeah, they made the Shield look very powerful, and let's see where the Shield goes from here. Since as of late, they don't really have anybody to feud with except Kane, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, which we've seen like 5 times already.
Yeah.
So let's see if the Shield can make something new and impress everybody else once again.
Okay, well, backstage, Mark Henry is thanking the primetime players and Tamina.
Yes, Mark Henry. He was supposed to retire later on in the night, but most of us know what happened.
Yeah, we'll just get through the bits before. The Shield ended up laughing and teasing Vicky because she's not doing anything about them attacking.
Yep, I believe Triple H pressured her into trying to get some action against the Shield, but again, Vince McMahon intervening, which we've seen a lot with Triple H and Vince McMahon, saying that he's been impressed by the Shield. So maybe this is a sign that Vince McMahon and Triple H aren't on the same page, and maybe this may lead to something big happening in the future.
Yeah. Up next, Zeb Coulter has a new client.
Zeb Coulter, he's one of the best in the microphone, and by bringing in Antonio Cesaro, he and Cesaro and Jack Swagger, once he returns, I think they're going to be a very dominant tag team.
Yeah. It's definitely great to see Zeb have a new client and not be completely brushed off the face of the WWE with Swagger dealing with his personal issues.
Yep, with Jack Swagger has been injured as of late, so Zeb Coulter, they would not get rid of him because he's great.
Yeah.
So why not put him with Antonio Cesaro, who's been struggling to even get a reaction from the crowd as of late. So this is probably going to really help Antonio Cesaro to get to the big time where I think he belongs.
Yeah, and he ended up crushing foreigner William Regal with the neutralizer to end the match.
Yep, Lord William Regal.
And what we were talking about before with Mark Henry came to fruition during a John Cena talking segment.
Mark Henry fooled everybody, including myself.
Yep.
Mark Henry and John Cena, I think they're going to be a great feud. They teased it a little bit after the night after WrestleMania, and we didn't see anything else. But now we're finally seeing these two big men. John Cena may not be a big man, but he's like a big star.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see if Mark Henry is going to use his strength to win, or John Cena will use his superpowers to win.
Yeah, Henry definitely had everybody going at that point. I think everybody thought he was going to retire. But the challenge for the Money in the Bank, it's going to be a great match between the two of them.
Yep.
Okay, so now I'll throw to our current entrance theme. It's Ted DiBiase Jr.'s theme, I Come From Money.
I come from money. I come from class. I can do anything.
That was Ted DiBiase's theme, I Come From Money. I'm still here with Brandon.
I'm right here.
And we'll carry on where we left off. 3MB member Heath Slater is taking on Chris Jericho.
Yep. Last week on Friday Night SmackDown, Heath Slater picked up the win against the Great Khali. So Heath Slater definitely impressed Vicky Guerrero here to put him against one of the best WWE superstars of all time. Heath Slater impressed me in this match, but Chris Jericho was able to pick up the win.
Yeah, easily with his code breaker, and then defended himself against the entire 3MB.
I think it would have been interesting to have 3MB dominate Chris Jericho, but Chris Jericho, he's too good for them, and Chris Jericho's able to fight back.
Okay, well, Heyman's pumping up his other client, Curtis Axel, for his match against Sin Cara.
Yep, Curtis Axel, Paul Heyman's newest client. He's impressed me a lot, and he also impressed me in his match against Sin Cara.
Yeah, although I've seen the Axel Sin Cara match a lot lately.
Yep, I think Sin Cara been wanting rematches because he thinks he's good enough to beat Curtis Axel, which I think he's pretty good. So Vicky Guerrero decided to give him a shot on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Just a side note, I'm hating those Sin Cara lights.
He's been using it since his debut, and for a short while he didn't use them. But I think it has to do with his mask. Maybe he needs the lights to see through his mask, but I don't know.
They're just very annoying and distracting during his match.
Yep, definitely to his opponents. So Sin Cara should start taking advantage of that and start beating his opponents.
Yeah. Just a side note, also, The Miz was on commentary.
Yep, The Miz, who's also a WWE main event commentator, he provided a lot of nice insider information about Curtis Axel and inside the mind of a wrestler. So I think this may have to do with Curtis Axel versus The Miz in the future, possibly at Money in the Bank for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep. Okay, again with the Vicky and Maddox in the middle, they're sort of between a rock and a hard place and a harder place at this point. Where Stephanie, Triple H, and Vince seem to want they all want to control Vicky at this point. I think Vicky should just listen to herself, sort of push them out of the way and do what she wants to do, or else she's just going to get controlled by the three of them.
Ever since Monday Night Raw in October, which I was there in person, Vicky Guerrero has done a great job as a general manager. Or, well, he's not the general manager. I think she's like managing supervisor or something. But
yeah,
I think they've done a good enough job to officially become general manager and assistant general manager.
Yeah. Okay, well, the main event of the night was Alberto Del Rio taking on CM Punk. And just before the match, CM Punk and Heyman embrace.
Yes, this was a very good match. I don't think we've seen this match ever since Survivor Series in 2011, where CM Punk beat Del Rio for the WWE title, which he held for over 400 days.
Yeah. Alberto ended up walking out on the match, and then being attacked by Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler, he's really pissed off after what happened at WWE Payback, where Del Rio took advantage of Ziggler's previous concussion.
Yeah. But I think that attack was quite overshadowed by the Brock Lesnar coming out.
Yep, Brock Lesnar coming out shocked everybody. Brock Lesnar coming out capped a great Monday Night Raw, and it looks like CM Punk and Brock Lesnar will be facing each other in the very near future.
Well, Punk's definitely got to be annoyed with him after that nasty F5 he took.
Yep, Brock Lesnar's vicious, and he doesn't care about what happens to his opponents. He only cares about himself, Paul Heyman, and winning.
Yep. Okay, so jumping over to Friday Night SmackDown, the opening match was the Sheamus Cody Rhodes match.
Following his attack on Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes looked to get some revenge on Sheamus, but we all know that did not happen.
No. Sheamus forcing Rhodes to tap out.
To the Irish Cloverleaf, I believe that's what he calls it.
Yeah.
And this definitely continues Damian Sandow versus Sheamus, which I think will culminate on an episode of SmackDown in the very near future.
Yeah, if not Raw.
Yep.
After that, the match we were meant to get over on Raw, the Intercontinental Championship rematch with Curtis Axel and Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett's been losing a lot as of late. So I think, come Money in the Bank, Wade Barrett looks to qualify for one of the Money in the Bank matches. Wade Barrett has impressed me as of late, so I think he deserves to be in there. So maybe Wade Barrett is able to turn his losing streak around and become Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Again, The Miz is on commentary, and this time at the end of the match, he gets in the ring and tries to get confronting with Axel, but Heyman ends up backing him off.
Of course, Paul Heyman, the coward, and because he knows his client, The Miz is a big threat to his client. So Paul Heyman is doing the right thing, taking his client out of the ring, and only let him fight in matches because he doesn't want his client to get injured.
Yep. But it definitely reinforces the Axel Miz match that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to happen in the near future, probably at Money in the Bank.
Yep. Oh, well, the next match was one of the better Diva matches we've had in a while. AJ Lee took on Natalya.
Yep, AJ Lee taking on Natalya in what was a great match. Natalya used her crying time finisher on AJ Lee for a very good part of the match, which she used with Beth Phoenix.
Yep.
And Natalya, she's been impressing me a lot as of late, and I think she's becoming one of the better divas in the WWE and one of the better wrestlers in the world.
Definitely. AJ Lee did end up locking in the Black Widow for the win, though.
Yep, AJ Lee using the Black Widow, aka the Octopus Hold.
Yeah.
She's used it in FCW, or when she was just coming up as an up-and-coming diva, and it was a devastating move, so the WWE divas need to look out for AJ.
Yeah. Backstage, Oksana ended up dissing Caitlyn to the point that Caitlyn attacked her.
Oksana rubbing in Caitlin's face over her loss at WWE Payback definitely sets up a match or two with Oksana and Caitlin in the future. Oksana's been impressing me as of late, and she's improved since her NXT days. So maybe Oksana can pick up the win against the former WWE Divas champion and former NXT Rookie Diva, along with Oksana.
Yeah, I think Caitlin definitely has to go see Dr. Shelby for some anger management tools at this point.
Yeah, maybe, but she's rightfully angry.
Yeah. Okay, so the next match was Chris Jericho taking on Alberto Del Rio.
This is a very good match. It may have foreshadowed something with Del Rio in the future, but I don't think that's going to happen because it looks like it's a lock for Del Rio versus Ziggler at Payback.
Yeah, the end of the match came when Ricardo got in his face and ended up getting the Lion Tamer locked in on him, and Ziggler attacked Alberto.
Yeah, it wasn't surprising that Ziggler came out and got more revenge on Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio is going to do more than run come WWE Payback.
Yeah. But Alberto definitely got his own, where after the match, Jericho was a bit pissed at Ziggler and hit the code breaker, and then came back in and capitalized.
Yep, Del Rio, he's smart. He comes and he wants to take advantage of the predicament.
Yeah, and he nailed a nasty super kick.
Yep, Del Rio taking advantage of Ziggler's injury, and Del Rio, he wants Ziggler out because he knows Ziggler's a big threat to his championship.
Yeah. Okay, well, after that match, we got another member of the 3MB in action. This time, Drew McIntyre was taking on Christian.
Drew McIntyre was Christian faced a lot in 2009 when Drew McIntyre was in the IC title hunt, but a lot has changed since then, and Drew McIntyre has appeared to be off his game. So Christian easily picked up the win against the 3MB member.
Yeah, the most important bit being after the match, Christian thanked the peeps, chanted one more match, but then the Shield came out.
This is interesting because it may be foreshadowing something with the Shield and Christian. Maybe Christian's going to find two tag team partners, maybe Edge, maybe one of the Hardys. I don't know, because this is going to be an interesting feud.
Yeah, I think the way I was looking at it is that a new tag team will come up through, like the Usos. They'll take on the Shield for their tag team titles, and Christian might go for the singles against Dean.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting, because I know Christian's a great in-ring competitor, along with Ambrose, so that'd be a nice mix.
Yep. Okay, well, up next, Renee Young tries to interview Paul Heyman.
Yep, Paul Heyman doesn't want to answer any questions, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and then brings up a few home truths of Renee's.
Yep, classic Paul Heyman.
So the main event of the night was the Randy Orton-Daniel Bryan rematch.
Another very good Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton match. But this time, Daniel Bryan, he wasn't very happy with the way the match ended, just like he wasn't happy with the way the match ended on Raw. So maybe Daniel Bryan, he's going to go to Teddy Long or Booker T and ask for another match with Randy Orton, and we'll see another classic between them.
Yeah, this one ending by countout. We actually finished SmackDown with Bryan arguing with the ref with a classic yes-no back and forth over whether to restart the match.
Referee John Cone, he did the right thing, and he called for the bell. Yeah, he has to follow the rules. He can't make exceptions for Daniel Bryan. He has to go by the referee rulebook.
Yep. Okay, well, it's been great talking to you, Brandon.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so there wasn't that many birthdays this week. There was J.J. Dillon, the legendary manager of the Four Horsemen. He's in the Hall of Fame class of 2012, and he turned 71. Earthquake, he's a former WWF and WCW wrestler. He died in 2006. Matt Stryker recently let go from WWE. He's been with WWE since 2005, and he turns 39. Layla, current WWE diva, she's been with WWE since 2006, and she turns 35. And a special shout out definitely has to go to Brandon, who we just had on the show. He just had his middle school graduation, and his mum managed to wrangle up a special graduation present for him, which I'll play you now.
Hey, Hey, Brandon Eamon, I hear you're a huge WWE fan. Don't ever give up on your passion. Fans like you keep the WWE what it is. And maybe one day you'll be in the ring stealing the show like me. Keep up the great work, and congratulations on your graduation.
Yes, that was Dolph Ziggler. So that's been Wrestling Roundup for this week. Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. You've been listening to Grady Hooker on FreeFM 89.0, and I'll see you next week.